So it's always a little bit of a bittersweet process when you strip down an aquascape. It's a little bit sad because you put so much time and energy into growing it, but you know, it's kind of balanced with the excitement of creating something new. What we're doing now is just preparing the canvas ready for its new three-dimensional work of living art. Hi everyone, welcome to this new video where I am going to strip down this Iwagumi aquascape home to platies. There is a deep dive video on this. Check out the link in the description. Hope you enjoy it. If you do, make sure you hit the thumbs up. And are you excited for the next scape? It's going to be a Dutch style. Like I said, check out the previous video on this scape and it will explain exactly the whole reason I'm going Dutch. And this is going to be the first kind of step towards that Dutch journey, stripping it all down, ready for the blank canvas. Very exciting. So let's just crack on. What I'm first going to do is actually going to save some of the best quality plants because I might be using them for another project. More on that later if that does come off. So I'll just use some nice scissors and trim the most healthy specimens. I've got a box here. We'll just put a bit of tank water in there, stop them from drying out. And there's a nice one there, we'll keep that. So this red stem plant is Ludwigia repens Rubin, and it's an easy red stem plant. It's actually growing out of the top already. I have completely neglected this. I've actually turned the CO2 off a couple of days ago and the plants are actually starting to go pale already, so it just shows how plants do you know, they do adapt to, they actually biologically, physiologically adapt to be able to use the extra CO2. And if that CO2 is reduced or becomes unstable, it does affect the plant quite significantly. So, yeah, just trimming the healthiest portions. They're all pretty much algae free. So I'm actually filming with two cameras today, which I very rarely do. It takes a lot more editing, of course, but just thought I'd give it a go. And I am hopeful this aquascape will be featured in Practical Fish Keeping magazine soon. There's a new editor. It used to be Nathan Hill. So he's handed over the baton to someone else. I can't reveal at the moment. I don't think it's been made public. But he has expressed an interest, or she has expressed an interest in seeing this aquascape in the magazine as a kind of beginner-friendly aquascape. It's home to platies, which are very easy to keep, and it's a fun aquascape. You know, lots of colours, lots of different textures, quite chaotic growth, which does make it quite easy for beginners to achieve. The next scape though will be much more challenging, the Dutch of course. It's such a rules driven type of scaping, and excited to give it a go. Who knows if it will work or not, we'll find out. Okay, I think that's probably enough of the Ludwigia. Now I'll move on to the Hygrophila polysperma, that's the stem plant here on the right. I'm just going to use my fingers to pinch these. It's such a weed, it's such a, it will just grow back no problem. Sometimes if you bruise the stems, it can result in poorly, you know, growth afterwards if it's a, you know, sensitive plant, but this isn't a sensitive plant at all. In fact, I think it's illegal in some countries because it's so invasive. So yeah, I'm just going to remove some of the healthiest portions. Plenty to choose from. I did do a final photo shoot of this about a week ago, and I'll overlay a couple of the pictures now because I was really happy with the photographs. I do spend more time on videos than photos these days. It used to be the other way around. I didn't really start making, in inverted commas, proper videos until about 2016, 17 or so. And then obviously YouTube, it does take a lot of your time and energy, and therefore I prioritise that over taking nice photos. But now I'm really getting back into photography as a different art form. And I love that process of capturing a moment in time. A little bit like when you're shooting macro footage of moving fish, that's a little bit like shooting a rifle, like a sniper. And coming from a military background, I kind of know all about that. So it's quite interesting. And probably nearly there for the hygrophila. You might hear the dogs barking in the background. Got the back window open, the back door's open. It's quite warm today actually. So yeah, they like to let their presence known to any passers-by. Okay, that's it for the hygrophila and the Ludwigia. That's quite a nice one actually, let's keep that. I know there's some damaged leaves on that one, I'll get rid of that. Okay, now it's time for the third stem plant. This is Heteranthera zostifolia, an absolute weed. It's probably quicker than the hygrophila, to be honest. And yeah, great. These fast-growing weeds are really, really good for helping to prevent algae, I should say. Always recommend planting, especially in a new setup, a good proportion of fast-growing stem plants. They basically outcompete the algae for nutrients. So. Plus they look great, they look good very quickly, although they can become a bit of a pain. If you don't like maintaining, trimming plants every week, it can become a bit of a pain. But maybe less of a pain than dealing with, long algae issues. So all these plants are from Tropica Aquarium plants. They are a sponsor of this channel, along with Awase. I'm very grateful for their support over the years. I've actually been working with Tropica since 2006, when I started writing for Practical Fish Keeping magazine. You could say I was one of the OG influencers before the time of Instagram and Facebook, and even before YouTube got big. I think YouTube came out in 2005. So basically Tropica would give me plants in return for featuring them in the magazine. And then because of that relationship worked really well, I developed that over the years to the point now where I go over every couple of months or so. The next visit is actually going to be an open house, so we're actually allowing the public. Oh, shush, shush, shush. Hello.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm just in the middle of filming right now. Can I help you?
Please leaflet, how do you view the future?
Oh, thank you very much.
Please
It's a Jehovah's Witness.
Internet. It's very nice program.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Right, have a good day.
Thank you.
Take care. Cheerio. Bye-bye. There you go, so Jehovah's Witnesses at the door. That's funny, isn't it? Yeah, it's okay, they're gone now. No need to be angry. They're just doing their job, spreading the word of the Lord. Spreading the word of the Lord. Oh, yeah. It's okay, they're gone. They're gone, Betty. It's okay. The question is, do I leave this in the video or not? We'll find out. Okay, so that's the stem plants. That's all that I need. I'll give them a spray. In fact, I'll change the water. put the original tank water in, just to give the plants the best, or the least opportunity to melt. Most plants will be fine, but you know, if you keep the water chemistry exactly the same, then there's less chance of anything going wrong. So give them a spray. There is some water in there already. Put the lid on so they can't dry out. And then we'll just leave that over here. Okie dokie, so that is the stems. Now let's focus on the foreground. The foreground is mainly a mixture of Aquarium Vietnam, which I did remove quite a lot of the healthiest specimens to put in the other Scape 60. There is a video on that. There's actually the previous video to this one. So we'll just take out what I think look like the healthiest specimens. It is going to, obviously, we're going to create a huge mess now, and that's all part of the fun. In order to make an omelette, you have to break some eggs sometimes, as they say. There is also a couple of different microsword species in here. So there's Halanthium telenum green and the Halanthium telenum red, formerly known as Echinodorus tenellus. It's a very fast growing carpeting plant. The green is easier than the red, and the red does look amazing though. If you've got good light, it does bring out the real red parts of the leaves. There isn't so much of that in here. It's been dominated by the other species. There's actually some BBA on some of the older leaves here, but we'll remove those if we do reuse them. There's also Halanthium quadricostatus in here. That's an absolute brute, but actually hasn't been taken over too much. I thought it would absolutely dominate the foreground, but I think it's mainly interestingly, the Aquarium is probably the dominant species, even though it's the slowest growing. So that's really interesting to see. So the fish will be a little bit distressed right now. They are platies, they're not so intelligent, so they're probably not aware of what's going on. There's a lot of algae on that portion there, we won't keep that. A lot of kind of green thread algae. So it's always a little bit of a bittersweet process when you strip down an aquascape. It's a little bit sad because you put so much time and energy into growing it, but you know, it's kind of balanced with the excitement of creating something new, and it's kind of immortalised really if you're recording it for YouTube or for photographs for your own prosperity. Hopefully it'll go in PFK magazine, which is always exciting to see your work published as well. So that's the foreground ones that I would potentially keep. It's quite a good excuse not to have to chat to the Jehovah's Witnesses actually in the middle of filming. It isn't I'm telling the truth. I don't feel guilty for lying to the religious people. Anyway, this channel isn't about religion, so we won't go there. The plant's saved. Okay, the next job is to remove the hardscape. So this is a Sanzon Iwagumi, so 3 stones. Got the main stone here. And what we'll do is soak these in a weak bleach solution and then dechlorinate them afterwards, just to keep them absolutely clean for the next scape if and when I use them. And now ready to take out everything else. This is where it'll get really messy. So I'm just going to be quite brutal now, just grab handfuls of plants. There is absolutely loads of shrimp in here, baby platies, so I'll just put them in the other scaper line temporarily. This is beautiful. Look at all these. I've got some Sagittaria there, I think. I might keep some of that actually. Yeah, I think I'll keep that. Pop that in down there for now. I've put towels down all around the aquarium so spillages will be dealt with effectively. So the filter will be working overtime now. I'll clear that water hopefully relatively quickly. And then the carpet will hopefully come out in one, well, not one lump, but so much plant biomass in here now. Can't see what I'm doing, of course. Now when we discard of these plants, it's important to discard of them properly. Don't let them get into any natural waterways, they can become invasive. We talked about the Hygrophila polysperma already. And I will be putting a brand new substrate in here, but probably keeping some of it a base layer to act as a kickstart for the biology, help the process, keeping lots of beneficial bacteria, which is important. The bacteria in the substrate is actually really helpful to convert the nutrients into convert the any waste products into usable nutrients for the plant growth, as well as nitrification as well. So, you've got different types of bacteria that perform different roles. In the substrate, you have a mixture of anaerobic bacteria, and it's that kind of, if you keep that in the right balance, it's very, very effective at denitrification. Sometimes you can get full denitrification, so there's not even any any nitrate production at all. So the fish will be thinking, what the hell's going on? And the shrimp. But I will be draining it down quite low, and then we'll be able to catch those fish quite easily and then put them in the other scape. All right. Try and be mindful not to suck up shrimps, because there's so many babies in here as well, and fish of course. So the tank holds around 75 litres, 20 US gallons, so it's going to be at least 2 or 3 bucketfuls. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm thinking about this carefully now, I will siphon out as much water as I can without kind of making it too dry for the livestock, and then allow the water to clear, and then I can net the fish out that way rather than risking sucking up livestock. So what I'll do is I'll just put the inlet siphon tube right next to the filter, and that way hopefully nothing can get sucked up into the hose. In fact, I've got an idea. I've got a really good idea. I'm going to put the net over the inlet of the siphon, and then there's no livestock can get sucked up at all. Great idea. Never thought of that before. It's just completely clogging it up. Let's just do it like I was. Just keep an eye on things. And with the shrimp there, just noticed. And what I'll do, I'll run the filter in parallel with the other filter on the other scaper line to keep it mature, you know, keep that beneficial bacteria alive. What I might do is actually move it over soon because it's going to really disturb that soil in a minute. Do that now. Yeah. Unplug the heater and the filter head. There we are. Should be a fairly straightforward process. Let's get the filter on. Prime it first. There we go, running perfect, no problem. There's a bit of ethical quandary. What do you do when you've got too many fish? And if you've got live bearers that breed prolifically, what's the ethical thing to do if you've got too many and your local shop doesn't want to rehome them and you've got no friends that want them? What do you do? So like I say, the water is pretty much identical in water chemistry and temperature. And we're dealing with very hardy shrimps and very hardy fish. You know, Neocaridina davidii, the cherry shrimps, are probably the hardiest shrimps you can get and breed very easily, as you can see. And platies again, super easy, super hardy. Let's pop that in the back. I just saw female carrying eggs there, so we'll probably get loads more babies at some point soon as well. Yeah, probably talking about 50 or so shrimps in here altogether, at least. The males tend to be smaller and not as colourful, and the females are much more colourful and larger. And obviously if you want to breed them, you need a good mixture. Ooh. Occasionally you'll get colour morphs. That's how the red cherry shrimp was originally produced, basically like a random genetic mutation. We've got 2 filters running on there, so there's absolutely no worries about overstocking. Loads of plant growth as well, or some babies. See if I can get those, there we go. Another tiny baby in here. Come on mate, there we go. Okay, and we're ready to empty the last of the soil. Okay, now one of the good things about going to the gym regularly is it's quite helpful for lifting heavy things, so I'm literally going to lift that to the compost bin again. It's kind of organic garden waste in a way, isn't it? So interesting getting the door. There we go. Good boy. Just making sure the dogs didn't get out of the door. Good boy. Just wondered where you were, mate. Just make sure you hadn't snuck out like you normally do. Okay, now I'm going to fill up the tank and clean it at the same time. So I've just attached the hose to my kitchen taps. Turn that on now. So I can just work my way around, wash all that soil down. Use a scraper if needed. So this leftover soil and power sand will contain loads and loads of beneficial bacteria, which will hopefully, some of it will stay alive during this process. Probably dormant, it'll probably go a little bit dormant. It's going to probably be a good week or so before I plant the tank. I have to decide what plants I'm going to use. It's going to be a big planning process, this Dutch scape, so let's just get the main dregs into the tank there. And then we can give it a really good clean in a minute. Such a lovely process, cleaning the tank. I love it. I love getting the tank ready for a new scape. It's like the blank canvas. You know, what we're working with is a three-dimensional canvas, aren't we? And what we're doing now is just preparing the canvas ready for its new three-dimensional work of living art. And that is, for some, quite daunting. For others, more exciting. A bit of a mixture. Okay, that's all the water we can do probably for now. Get some of it. I want to cover that spare substrate to keep the bacteria alive. I know it doesn't look nice at the moment, but once we put the new substrate on, when I do the new scape, it will look much tidier. Just hopeful that bacteria will survive the process. Okay, now we can just give that a final clean. This video, so if you are watching it all the way to this point, do let me know in the comments. I really appreciate the viewers' attention. We're working in an attention economy these days, and it's very hard to compete with other creators that may be relying on shorter form content, sort of clickbait titles, although I've been accused of using those before now, which is fair enough. You have to, you know, this is my job, and I have, you know, financial commitments, you know, to look after my family, and I have commitments to my sponsors. You know, they want to see obviously a certain amount of engagement and viewers to the channel, and if you can't get people to watch your video to start with, which is basically what the title and the thumbnail does, no one's going to watch your content. You can have the best video in the world, but unless it's titled properly and got the right thumbnail, no one's going to watch it. And unless they're a loyal subscriber, in which case I'm very grateful to you guys in particular. Really grateful. And if you're a new subscriber, grateful to you as well. And if you're not a subscriber, then please subscribe if you have enjoyed what you see. So thanks for watching, really appreciate it. And the next video of this tank will be the first stage of planning the aquascape, the Dutch aquascape, using the strict rules. So I'll come up with a full layout plan, you know, how I'm planning the layout in terms of the plant species, where those species are going, why I've chosen those species, and just the amount of research I've done on the Dutch aquascaping process in order to hopefully create a beautiful Dutch aquascape. I'm really excited. It's something I've been meaning to do for many years. I've always avoided it because it's very difficult, but one of the things I've learned in recent years is the more difficult something is, the more you should maybe try to do it in order to grow. Huge believer in the growth mindset. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you in the next one. Cheerio.
you.